What's up everybody, Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing Reading Room, which is in Halo CE, beat the par score on the library. So start up this level, run to this point, and then run back. We're going to run and grenade jump up here onto this pillar, whatever it is, and then we're just going to do a jump from here to here. You do need to do a crouch jump for that second one. It is a little tricky, but once you get it, it's very consistent. So then just run over here, and what we're doing is despawning all the enemies in this first area. You could run through normally if you're having too much trouble with this, but if you're going to do this, just run back. You got to backtrack a little bit to get 343 Guilty Spark to move up. Run to this point, right under Guilty Spark. He's hovering right there. And then he will move up with you, and we could start going back through the level as usual again. So what we've done is despawned most of the enemies in that first section. All the enemies that would be out here are despawned, and all the enemies up in this next section that I'm going to go into right now, that I walked through this doorway, there are no enemies here either. So we've despawned all those enemies. Obviously we're going for par score, so we do want to get some points, but a large element of the par score is the par time actually. It's very odd. They are connected. You get a time bonus depending on how quickly you finish a level, so that increases your score as well. So we're going to try to get that up as high as we can as well while we're getting some decent point values. So the more points we get and the less time we use, the higher the score. So move through here. I cut out like 20 seconds there where we're just waiting for Guilty Spark to open the door. Throw a grenade into here, and a shotgun guy will always be there. Unfortunately, it was blasted off, like Team Rocket, across the map, and it was just blasted over here again by that carrier form. I've been following it, and look, it lands right in front of me. That was all planned. I would like to say that honestly, but that was just completely lucky. Normally, when you throw that first frag grenade, the enemies die from the explosion, and the shotgun kind of pops out onto the floor in front of you. But that was not the case this time. It kind of stayed in that alcove where they come out of, and then it was blasted away by the carrier form and then was bouncing all around this area. But fortunately, it landed in a nice little spot for me. These carrier forms you really want to watch out for, because if you round a corner and they're right in front of you, they could drop down and kill you with their explosion. And especially if there's any grenades near them, they will start a chain reaction, and that will definitely kill you. Also, more so for me, and possibly you, depending on if you put some skulls on, I have Boom on, so Boom makes explosions have twice the blast radius. I put that on because it makes my grenades much more effective, but that's kind of a double-edged sword. Obviously, all the explosions receive that blast radius upgrade, so the carrier form's exploding, any rockets that may be shot at me, or rockets that I shoot and accidentally kill myself, and any grenades I throw. So it really is something you gotta use wisely and carefully. Kind of like explosives in real life, but obviously don't use explosives in real life. Come on, man. Put those down. Unless you're a trained professional, just pick up a controller and play some Halo. So this section you could run through. It's kind of the toughest area in this level to run through though, so I'm just going to take it slow. There's a bunch of waves of enemies that drop down, so kind of press forward, and then a bunch of enemies will spawn like towards the ceiling and jump down at you. Then you can back up and take them all out with a shotgun. The shotgun is by far the best weapon to take flood out in this game. On top of grenades, obviously. Grenades kill a bunch of people at once, but if you're going to pick a gun to use, it's definitely the shotgun. And you definitely want a Magnum as your backup weapon, because that comes into play later. And it's also pretty good at taking out enemies in general, as long as they're flood forms. And I guess Covenant too. So basically all the enemies in this game. So once all the waves of enemies are done spawning, move forward. And we're going to go over here. There's a bunch of enemies that pile out of here. There's health that I just ran over, and just drop down into this ditch thing. And you could actually grab that overshield and grenade jump up and out of there. If I was quicker about it, I could grenade jump before the overshield was fully charged. You are invincible to damage, any damage at all, even to your overshield, when your overshield is charging up. Once it charges, though, it will start taking damage like you saw there. But if I was quicker, I would have been able to take no damage if I got that grenade jump off while I was charging the overshield. So just follow this path once you get the overshield. Throw that grenade. Oh my god. The carrier forms around here. You do want to go up that incline that I went up there, because there's carrier forms along the bottom of it. And right here you want at least one grenade left, preferably a frag. And it just kills everybody all up in there, because they all come out of that doorway, and there's like 9 or 10 people there that just stand there waiting for you. I cut out the elevator ride because that's just you standing there, and this is a long level, so I wanted to cut out as much as I could. Shoot one of those carrier forms. It should blow up all of the carrier forms, and you get a bunch of kills there. This section we're going to do a little skippity skip. Well, it's not a skip. The video will skip ahead because it's so easy. You just got to stand somewhere. Move up here. There's a couple carrier forms. Take care of one of those. It'll kill all of them. Move up and it will say hold your position until the monitor returns or whatever. And then immediately when you see that, you want to walk back and jump up here and just take out all the carrier forms just for points. But we're going to cut ahead here because we just stand here for like 30 seconds and wait for Guilty Spark to return. And we can see him drop down. There we go. And once he comes back into play, we can move forward, and that despawns all of these enemies here. Normally, there's a bunch of enemies that spawn you got to hold out against, so we don't got time for that. There's health that I just ran over, along with frag grenades. And normally we run down to the right over there where I'm looking at people and shooting people. I thought I would get more kills for that carrier form exploding and hopefully taking out enemies around him, but that is not the case. But you can see here, we can just jump up along this. And I'm going to speed this part up a little bit. It's pretty easy. You just run and jump and slide up the slope and onto it, and we're just totally circumnavigating the area. Probably not the right word to use or the best word, but you know what I mean. We're just totally avoiding all the enemies we would have to deal with if we just walked right down there. So now we get Guilty Spark to come over here. You could actually shoot one of the carrier forms down there. They're going to be all gathered in that general area, and you could kill all of them by exploding a carrier form. And Guilty Spark has left again. He's left us to our own devices. You could grenade jump up and through that half-open door if you'd like. I'm not going to do it here. I do it on my speed runs, obviously, because obviously it's faster. But a bunch of a bunch of infection forms, the popcorn flood, will come at you here, so it's not really that big of a deal. Also, I have on Pinata, which means whenever I melee an enemy, a grenade will drop out of them. So that is very useful in any level, really. But this level especially, because I can keep a consistently full satchel of grenades, at least plasma grenades. A plasma grenade will fall out whenever you melee an enemy, and that goes for infection forms too. So even when you just smack the little popcorn floods, a grenade will pop out of those guys as well. So I could really just keep throwing plasma grenades at everybody if I really wanted to. Because there are plenty of infection forms to smack in this level. What you do want to be aware of, though, is you don't want to smack too many infection forms unknowingly and create a giant pile of plasma grenades and then have a carrier form blow up near you or something, because that will set off a gigantic chain reaction. But obviously, just don't let that happen. But we're going to move through here. There are going to be some enemies that pop out at the other end of this tunnel, so we're going to deal with them. There might be... No, there's no more carrier forms here, but there's going to be one that jumps down right in front of you. Kill that guy and throw a plasma grenade up at the top of the ramp there, and that should kill a bunch of them. And it does. There we go. Got 6 of them there. So that should be the majority of them, or all of them. You can see I keep meleeing some of these infection forms and keep getting plasma grenades. Also, you'll notice that I allow the infection forms to actually jump on me once I've cleared out a whole area and there's just infection forms remaining. I'll oftentimes let them jump on me because really they're not that much of a threat even when there's a handful of them. And that way I get a checkpoint, because then there's going to be no more enemies left once they kind of kill themselves on top of my shield. But just move through here like I did and shoot one of the carrier forms down the hallway like I did with a plasma pistol, or just a regular pistol, not a plasma pistol. And it will set them off, and will set off a giant chain reaction, probably killing all of them. And hopefully it will kill the 2 combat forms down here that I'm killing now. They start off with rocket launchers each. They each have a rocket launcher, and there's 2 of them, so you really want to make sure that they die quickly, because they could fire a rocket at you, and that's just no good for your chances of survival, especially with the boom skull on if you decide to use that. So this section you could run through fairly easily, throw a grenade about there. If you need to, you could cut back in here and kind of gather yourself. My shields were pretty low, so I cut back in here for some cover, and I'm going to pop out again. And we are on a sprint down here. You could always throw a grenade behind you just to cover your back there, so make sure nobody's following you. And I got 3 people. Apparently 3 people were in the area, so that's very good. We get points, and they're no longer following us. So I'm going to jump up here, kill some people as I go up the elevator for more points. Why not? But I'm going to cut out most of this elevator ride like I did for the previous one. It's just wasting your time. And move through here and take out your pistol. There's going to be a handful of combat forms to the left. There's one up on top here every time, so take him out. And there's a couple on the ground, and there's another one up on top there. So take those guys out from afar as you can, and then move in and kill them again. They might pop up again because they like to do that. They reanimate, but whatever. Whenever they reanimate, they usually don't have their weapon that they had. So once you get them down once, they're a lot easier to deal with the second time around. There is a health pack right where I jumped up and right at the corpse of that first guy I killed in this section. And then take out your pistol again, because down the trench, down at the other end, is like 4 or 5 enemies again. So start taking them out from afar. And they might reanimate. They probably will. So just when you get closer, just take out your shotgun so you can kill them for the second time. And there's a bunch of infection forms, as you can see. And watch out, don't cut the corner or cut around the corner just yet. There's a bunch of carrier forms over there, so they could blow up and kill you. So watch out for that. And it's okay to die. I died a couple times through this run. Obviously, you want to minimize dying because dying does two negative things. A, you just lose points straight up when you die. And also, if you die, you're wasting time. So your time bonus won't be as good if you finish in like 40 minutes due to deaths rather than like 30 minutes. So once you get up this ramp, just go over here, follow this path. Most people will not follow you or at all because they're distracted by the sentinels. Throw a plasma grenade over there and one right about here. It will fall at the feet of some combat forms who spawn. And then just jump up here. Whoa boy, a combat form came to meet me up here. But you're pretty safe up here. All the carrier forms, obviously they can't jump, so they just sit down there. So you can just shoot them, take them out with a pistol, and you get that. You get a Killtrocity. Rinse and repeat those Killtrocities. There is health right next to me right now, if you need that. And we've killed everybody for the most part in this section. We're just waiting for the door to the right to open. It's another one of those times when Guilty Spark is slow playing us. It's like when you go to a dinner party or something and dinner's at 6 and you get there at like 6:30 and the food's not even ready until 7:30 and you're like, what the heck? I came here for food, man. I also didn't eat all day so I could enjoy the food and now I gotta, you know, starve myself more. First world problems, man. But throw a grenade over there where I got that double kill because there is at least one flood form and he has rockets. So you want to kill him immediately. He's a huge threat. But then go over here. We could do kind of our little wraparound skip thing. If you want to be super safe, you could go the opposite direction. Go clockwise or counterclockwise around this area. But I go clockwise. I had to think about it for a second. If you go clockwise, throw that plasma grenade. Those 4 guys always spawn and jump on top of it. And then we just clear out these guys. Not as many people spawn if you do this, but if you go the longer way around, the counterclockwise direction, you will actually get a terminal, I believe is over there. It'll be flashing. And also, you will despawn all the enemies in this section. It takes a little bit longer, but if you're not confident in your shooting skills, you could always do that. Usually more than just that one flood form pops up from this ditch here. Normally it's like 2 or 3, but we'll take the one. They spawn in random locations, obviously, every time. It could be 1, could be 2, could be 3, but then they just spawn somewhere else if they don't come out of that ditch. So for this part, we're going to take a left, hug the wall, so you cut down on the amount of time you're here. There are a bunch of enemies that, whoa boy, not cool. Those carrier forms are really messing with me. Alright. Fortunately, they act as grenades. Well, which is not good when you're right next to them like I just was, but if you're getting kills with them, they're freaking awesome. So move through here. This is one of the toughest parts of the level, but it's going to be really easy. I'll show you how to do it. Even if you're the worst Halo player in the world, you could do this trick easily. There's health right here and some grenades. Just run over here, run exactly where I go. We're going to run into this corner, and we're just going to stand here. I skip ahead. I cut out like a minute and a half. I literally just stood there for like a minute and a half, a minute 40, and all the enemies spawned and get in that area, and you're supposed to hold out on your own for like a minute and a half with infinitely spawning flood, but they don't see you if you're in that corner, so you could just hang out and wait for the doors to open. But once those doors open, get ready to get a triple killionaire right here. You can see I threw 1 grenade and it killed 13 people, so be ready for those guys. They come around the corner kind of surprisingly. You're not expecting them, and they just come at you from the side. And it's just horrifying, so be ready for them. You need at least 1 grenade. And I cut out the elevator footage again because I'm just going up, standing there. Watch out here. There's some carrier forms that are kind of hanging out by the exit to that elevator. And again, up here, there's more carrier forms, so just take them out with your pistol from far away. Pretty easy. And more flood will drop down from the ceiling like they are wont to do. But we're going to do a little grenade jump here. If you don't like doing grenade jumps, you can just go down the trench. But if you do like grenade jumps and making things a little quicker, grenade jump up there with a frag grenade. And there's more health right here, so you are totally fine. It's like nothing even happened. And we're going to stand here for like a minute as well. Just stand in the corner there for like a minute, wait for the doors to open. Once they do, start moving forward. Again, you do have to wait there for like a minute in that corner. Don't expect it to just... I did cut out like a minute of me just standing in the corner. You see that? You see me see where that hole was? You probably didn't even see the hole. I just jumped over a hole because I knew exactly where I was on the map, even though I was walking backwards. Bam. Look at them skills. There are a bunch of contacts that spawn into being, but don't be afraid. They're just carrier forms behind you when you're running through here. Jump up here if you have the boom skull on and shoot that guy, and then shoot that guy, and it should kill the combat form who is right below you as well. Then you can do a little shake and bake up here. All the enemies are going to come from where I'm facing right now, but eventually the door will open partially to my right, and they all jump through. Throw a grenade through there if you have one. I'm running low on grenades, but there's some infection forms here I could smack to get more grenades. So I'm going to do that in a little bit. Normally, more enemies pile out of... there we go, got a grenade there. Normally they come at me more, but apparently they didn't feel like it this time. Either way, just throw grenades at them. And we have our, not necessarily infinite grenade glitch. Well, it's not a glitch, it's the skull that allows that. But obviously use as many plasma grenades as you can, because you could always get more just by smacking infection forms. Which I'm going to do right here. Give me some plasma grenades. There we go. So now I can move forward. There's always an enemy up here where I'm shooting. And also on the left side you saw there was an enemy up there. So just take those guys out with a plasma grenade and just throw a couple over there, because that's where they're all going to spawn. None spawn to the left over here. So go to the left over here for safety. And I got a couple kills over there with those nades. I have one left. Just jump up over here like we've been doing. Throw a grenade over there, because they might see me and run at me, which is fine. I kind of hope they do, because then they'll die from that explosion. But that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Click like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter at HaloCompletion, and I'll see you later for the par score guide on 2 betrayals and many more after that.